and I welcome you all on behalf of Kidzlive. Hope you all are in pink of your health. As we had promised to make you meet new people while sitting at home, we are back yet again with another episode of Kidzlive. Today, we will talk about early stage of entrepreneurship, and to enlighten his views on this topic, we have with us Mr. Mukesh Malik. He is a business
Hello.
transformation expert and startup evangelist, actively engaged in innovations in retail, wellness, treatment, and many more industries. Post a corporate career spanning in 10 years in innovation and problem solving, he has been running a consulting practice, ProjectGK, for 7 years. He is a strong believer in defining and creating resilient organizations to create self-sustained culture. Welcome, Mukesh.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
We also have with us Mr. Amit Mishra. He is an entrepreneur and enabler in the Indian startup ecosystem for almost a decade. He advises companies on the Indian entry strategy. He is also a TEDx speaker and works closely for some government initiatives too. Welcome, Amit.
Thank you so much, Nishta. And welcome, Mukesh.
Thank you.
Kidzlive. It was long due.
Yeah, it was long due. Always a pleasure being with you. Yeah, it took a while, but yes, right here.
And so, Mukesh and I go long back. We have been friends for a few years now.
Right.
And we've done a lot of similar initiatives for the past few years. So, Mukesh, I think this is a question which we never discussed.
Right.
Your childhood and
Okay.
journey till date, right? This was I don't think we discussed about this. We talk about ideas, we talk about innovation, startups, and funding and everything.
True.
Never came around thinking about your childhood and how whatever happened in your life, how
Right.
the childhood contributed to that.
Okay. See, by the grace of God, I still have a very loving and caring family. So it's been a great childhood. I've lived in a house where there used to be a joint culture and about 11 cousins living in the same house and having a lot of fun together. So now we just kind of dispersed and we have our own houses and families coming up. It's been great childhood, but taught us bonding, living together, how life really goes. Academically also, I did decently well, always was among top 3, top 5 students in the class. It used to be like that. Most importantly, I was a sports freak. I still am today. I used to play a lot. I played club cricket in Delhi, A division, and I've played football at school level, played cricket also at college, university levels also as well. In fact, it went on to play corporate levels also as well too. So sports was one of the most important part of my childhood and growing up. That was one big thing. School was brilliant. I have done my schooling from DAV Pitampura, passed out from there. Our college and Delhi University exposure also been brilliant. But talking about childhood, it taught us a lot on various stuff. I mean, the kind of work and initiatives we used to do. I don't know whether kids today will relate to it. I talk about and teach kids at home also as well of those experiences. I did fundraising for a Janmashtami that we used to conduct. We did that for 25 years in our colony. Okay, so we used to have those chits where we used to go out seeking donations, seeking a basic sponsorship of say 2,000 rupees or 3,000 rupees to put someone's banner and stuff like that. So it taught us a lot in terms of interacting, going out, meeting people, understanding their needs, what is really required. I mean, now when I look back, it really taught us a lot. I mean, this is what we teach management students at a different level or different scale today, but it taught us a lot. Playing with different teams taught me how to work with people, how to leverage their strengths, and how to fit my own strength into what they are doing out there. Also, that is something that was there. My dad passed away when I was pretty young, so we've had our own set of hardships. We learned, came out of it. And again, it made me the entrepreneur I am today. Primarily, that's something that really pushed me to become an entrepreneur. Even though I was an entrepreneur earlier, and then I joined corporate career because I needed to make money, and corporate job was well paying. And God being kind, I grew pretty fast in the corporate career also as well. And then when I realized that some of my important duties have been taken care of and some goals have been met, I came back to my entrepreneurial journey. Today we're talking at a good juncture because this year is my 10th year of being on the road as an entrepreneur. So it's been fun.
Same here. I think yeah. So this is my 10th year also.
Oh,
Being
great.
right. So
Perfect.
uh, and we are talking about your so fundraising. I think is the important thing
True.
which we learned early on.
Very
Uh,
much. Yes.
and you came back to entrepreneurship after 10 years of
Right.
it.
Right.
What was the key driving force for you? To be entrepreneur before and after your corporate life. What was the key driving force there?
Okay. When I started, the biggest thing that really helped in my school days also as well, and growing up also too, that I also used to experiment most of the things that I used to learn in school. I mean, my physics and chemistry, I used to be in lab most of the time, try to experiment, try to learn whatever that can happen. To a point, I even decided to, there was a point in time when I was building a time machine of my own in a way too. So it was just always into building stuff that I really wanted to. So creation always came naturally. I always thought that I could create well, and it gave me a different kind of a high altogether.
Right.
Um, Even during my corporate stint, after about my first year of corporate job, uh, for good 9 years, I was given independence to create anything I wanted, even the job days also as well. So I have created some of the best innovations in financial industry, BFSI level, in call center times also as well. They gave me free hand to do whatever I wanted in telecom, health insurance, banking. So after about first or second year of my corporate career, I was in a job like an entrepreneur only. I used to have my own crack team, and those 6, 7 guys used to work with me, and we would find new set of problems every year, and we'll solve those problems every year. This is what we were doing. So that was a big hire. And so I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and create things. I'm still doing very much when I was doing the job, primarily, actually speaking. My consulting practice is still an extension of my job days. But that time I was restricted to just one industry because I was in the job. Now I can proudly say that I've worked with more than 20 industries during my consulting stint so far. And we've created some state-of-the-art solutions and things people are still using in a big way. So that was the driving factor in terms of creating the time machine that I wanted to create in my childhood days. It still continued. The dream still is on very much.
Interesting. I think this is the dream for every kid.
True.
Time machine is, I think, one of the tick mark.
Exactly. A bucket list tick mark that you have to do before you can die.
And you have had a versatile experience of working with all these industries.
All right.
How do you actually went out marketing your business, and what are the which tactics worked or which did not work? If you can talk about that.
It's a okay. It's a funny story. Also, there is a story around it. Actually speaking, because during my corporate stint, people kept giving me new problem statement every few months. I mean, to a point, in my last job in ICICI Prudential, during 3.5 years time, I had 8 bosses. So because I kept hopping departments and kept hopping initiatives, and because I was able to crack everything, I was fairly confident कि हम कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. मतलब if you really want to put your head around something, you can do it. So during entrepreneurial journey, when I moved out and I started looking for business, I had two options. One, I could really make phone calls to my enterprise friends saying that I've started a consulting company now, give me business. It was a very easy choice that I could make. Second was go out in the market, present, identify problem statements, talk to people and build solutions around it. So for the first year, I was absolutely clueless in terms of which problem to attack because of my experience, I thought I could attack any kind of problem. And I had taken a call that I will not go to my natural market, because had I gone to my natural market, I would have never learned how to sell, because it would have been easy thing. It would have been, my friends would have been exhausted in a year or 2 years time. Then I would have been at a loss what to do next. So while doing that, first year I was trying to identify problem statements, trying to work. So after one of the assignment, I was coming back. I was in a flight, and I sat with. There was next to me was chairman of a coir mattress company, and we just started talking. And he asked me, "What do you do?" And it's a very difficult question to answer. So I've just finished a 20-page website to answer that question. I mean, last week. Just kind of finished. So So it was a very weird answer. I said, I'm a business transformation expert. So he said, are either financial, human resources, or something of that sort. What kind of consultant are you? So I just, out of the whim, I said, I'd solve problems. You give me any problem, I'll solve it for you during the flight.
Hmm.
And trust me, that was the most expensive consulting hour I've ever charged. Okay. So I made a sale during that particular flight, and I went on and further acquired the client also as well. Then I realized that pitch worked for me very well. So when I started meeting people in forums, so I started moving out to networking forums, meeting people, and I decided that I never needed a business card. I only had to leave a mark by saying, give me a problem statement right now. I'll solve it for you while I'll have coffee with you. And that stuck with people. People never forgot me. I mean, in terms of they kind of realized, ये आदमी अजीब है, इसको तो कोई भूलेगा ही नहीं आसानी से, types and all. So that became a trademark pitch for me. So today we are about 84 clients old, and all of them have been told the same thing, and they keep coming back with new problem statements after the other. So that was building a brand. That was the tagline that we used to build that particular brand, where I actually put my head into fire and saying, I will get out of it. I know that for a fact. It's a very open, challenging brand statement to make, that a problem to main solve karta hu, types. But by the grace of God, it worked for me. So people remembered it. So you'll be surprised that I haven't even printed my business cards in my life yet. So that was never needed. And so in networking forums also, people always remembered me. I think I haven't given you my business card to you also as well ever. So that's not been the case. And then that was the brand building. Second part was how to approach those markets and how to reach out to those markets. So I did some research in terms of what kind of industries would I want to target, how to build my portfolio. So I figured out insurance is my stronger suit because I already have deployed and solutions, and I already have some legacy there. People know me. So that is some problem statements I attacked and started writing about it, some blogs, some pieces, shared it with people. And I'm talking about times when WhatsApp was not around. I'm talking about when SMS used to be sent. I'm talking about when emails could be sent. So, and I never told them, give me business. I just told them, this is how I look at things. So when you go out and say that, give me business, people all of a sudden are on a front foot and they think they are the kings and they are going to drive the conversation. The moment you start thinking like that, वो नहीं होता है, तब आपको business नहीं मिलेगा. मिलेगा भी तो किसी और की terms पे business मिलेगा, आपकी terms पे business नहीं मिलेगा.
Right.
So I started writing. That was one vertical. Then I started reaching out to networking forums, right kind of people. That's what happened. And one big eureka moment was a big client where I became a part of 1.5 crore worth of an application. I became a part of that consulting assignment. It was way ahead of its time. It was a GST application that I'm talking about that people were building in 2011-12. Okay, so that was the moment where the most important value that I realized in business is the referrals. So I did good job there. He gave me 3 more contracts in different clients, then different clients and all this stuff. So one thing led to another and things happened from there on. So your work is most important, what you do. The kind of brand that you want to build, you need to be very clear and go out and tell people about it. And third is keep your channels active, whether it's digital, whether it's phone calls, whether it's going out and meeting people also as well. It is important. That's the 3 things I think in a very simple way, especially for the kids to know. I mean, not going too complicated about it.
Right. This is actually very helpful.
Right.
Since you are running a consulting company, ProjectGK,
Right. Yeah.
how did you come up with the name for your company?
Okay. See, when I quit my job, I wasn't even sure what exactly I was going to do. So I started it like a project. And GK was a very simplified thing for me. My parents have always had huge impact in my life. So GK is my parents' initials. G is for Gyan and K is for Kiran, my father and my mom's name. So I called it Project GK. So from there onwards, it's kind of stuck around. So Project GK today has 3 offshoots. One is GK Consulting. Second is Growth Kinetics. Growth Kinetics, now the name comes as, the tagline that I call is, we convert your potential into kinetics. So for students out there in science, आपका potential energy को kinetic energy में करेंगे. Wherever your business is static, will make it move. That's what part is. And third brand is Asadya. Asadya is actually an amalgamation of my kids' names only, Asas and Aradhya, but it also means, Ahem means मैं, Sadhya means capable. I can harness resources. So I am capable is the name of the brand there. And it is purely driven, the brand is purely focused on building livelihood for people who are losing jobs or doing something about it right now. So this is where it is.
Such a unique story behind the name.
Oh, thank you.
Covering all your family members over there.
True, absolutely. As I said, family has had a huge impact in my life. They have dealt with all my whims, and I quit a high-flying job when I was getting printed in media, and career was on a surge. And I decided one fine day, I said, "छोड़ते हैं ना कुछ नया अपना धंधा शुरू करते हैं." So that is what they had to deal with. So they've been a big support.
So what are the common mistakes that first-time entrepreneurs make?
Well, I'll give you my mistakes. As I said, first-time entrepreneur. First thing that we believe is that we can, which is a very good thing to have, but it has a flip side to it also as well, that whatever that we're doing is the best thing in the world. And I know how to do it right. Okay. So most of the entrepreneurs, when they start a solution, they always think that their solution is the best in the world. I mean, I have never heard any entrepreneur ever come to me. I talk to about 200 startups a month kind of a situation today. And I haven't heard a single person who's come back to me saying, "Sir, किसी और ने भी बनाया, but I think ये काम करेगा." Nobody's ever said this. Everybody says that what they're doing is the best. Second mistake is they try and drive their own agenda rather than listening to what markets or customers have to say. We feel मेरी गाड़ी का engine सबसे तेज भागता है, and I am the one who can drive it at 140 kilometers. But the roads say, don't drive at 140, you'll not be able to sustain here. It is not going to work. Or the red light says you need to stop right here because it is unsafe for you to drive that fast. So you need to be able to understand perspective of a customer, why they need your product or service. That is more important rather than just keep pushing the brilliance of your own service or product. So that is something. So that's why my pitch changed straight away. You tell me what's wrong with you, I'll deal with it. So that is how things changed for me.
What are the entrepreneurial skills that one should have before starting his entrepreneurial journey?
First of all, willingness to accept that whatever that person is about to build or sell is subject to change. It will not the only thing that is going to work and sell. I mean, the first year I was hard sell. I was always selling what I wanted to, but then I realized market wants different things. People want different things. So ability to adjust and understand and accept change. That is one big important thing entrepreneur needs to know. Second, work with people. Because most of the people become entrepreneur because एक ही reason वो बोलते हैं कि मेरे को किसी की सुननी नहीं है. I don't want to listen to a boss. I don't want to listen to anyone. And that is one of the biggest premise on which people start their entrepreneurial journey. But entrepreneurial journey में ज़्यादा सुनना पड़ता है. So that is something which is very, very important for your ability to listen, for your ability to have patience. Third, ability to measure your own work. Most of the people measure it in their best frame of mind or their best way of looking at it. अपने काम को global standard पे या market के standard पे measure कर पाओगे तो बहुत important है. So that is, I think, another one. I would say people management. I used to say this statement in my corporate career a lot, which has done wonders to me. It is not important to know everything that has to be done, but it's the most important to know who can do it for you. So if you can figure that out, who can do it for you, then you're already above that work because there is already someone who's doing it for you. So you can elevate yourself and move to the next level, graduate to the next level. So that is where the skill comes in. So have to have people management skills to be able to trust them, empower them, train them. All that is very, very important. And of course, the most important is manage money. So learn it by managing your pocket money. It's just figure out that what has to be done. This is allocated for a treat. This is allocated for books. This probably is allocated for my phone recharge. uh, data, travel. So the day you start organizing your money, because any business in the world is all about how you manage the money that comes in and how the money goes out. So if you know and learn how to manage money, I think that is the biggest skill. And I think that's one skill most of the people lack. I've seen and I've realized. I think that should do. I mean, I can add more, but I think this should be good for them. Yeah.
So whosoever is watching us, it's very important, like Sir have mentioned, it's very important to keep your money safe and try to manage it. And to become a good entrepreneur, it's the key to success.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what were the entrepreneurial tricks that you have discovered to keep you focused and productive in your day-to-day life?
Okay, for an entrepreneur, it's very easy to get lethargic in a way. कोई है नहीं ना डंडा मारने को कुछ आज काम कर लेंगे तो कर लेंगे नहीं तो क्लाइंट को बोल देंगे सर अभी एक हफ्ता और लगेगा we'll deal with it later on or something of that sort. So make it a habit of doing small things at home or small things at office. मतलब I'm forgetting the name of that army general in US. I heard him talking and he said, start your day by making your own bed, if nothing else. You know, so that is one task accomplished in the morning, and you feel that sense of achievement that you've done your first job. So break your day down into certain mini tasks that you have to do every day. That will keep you, work-oriented, task-oriented, focused. That ये 10 काम तो करने ही हैं, फिर उसके आगे पीछे देखते हैं क्या करना है. And I'm one of the mavericks. I'm one of the known mavericks in corporate culture that मुझे अगर 6 हफ्ते की डेडलाइन है तो शायद मैं 5वें हफ्ते में शुरू करके भी 6 हफ्ते से पहले काम खत्म कर दूंगा, बट वो 4 हफ्ते शायद घूमता रहूंगा in a way. That's how I used to be in my corporate career. People knew me like that, but I can't afford to do that in my entrepreneurial career because every day is important. Every day is precious. I was well covered in my corporate career. I had a team to fall back on. I had stakeholders to manage it, and there was a lot of things that were there. I had 4 walls and to a point even a housekeeping staff who could give me coffee in the morning straight away. I mean, so here I have to do everything all by myself. So that self-motivation is very, very important. So do your tasks, build a list of at least 10 tasks that you want to accomplish the moment you wake up, and review that list by the end of the day. The list will start kicking you already that you've not been doing your job properly. So I think that will really help.
So I think this is a dilemma which everybody faces, and
Right.
The right pointers. But अपने लिए ही करना है, किसी की सुननी नहीं है.
Exactly.
मुझे बहुत पसंद मेरा.
हाँ.
मुझे नहीं लगता मैं किसी को सिर्फ सुन पाऊंगा. And while we are talking about all that, I think interpersonal skills are one of the most important skills here.
Absolutely.
Everybody is a boss now. Every client is a boss, and then the junior most person in that company, your client company will still be a boss. Somebody who has still started. Like intern भी जब गाली देने पे आएगा तो गाली दे सकता है. How do you think these relationships are to manage, because these are relationships which are if broken, then the business is lost, and you can't have ego there, right? It's all about ensuring that the things run smoothly, and you are the peon and you are the founder.
True. Absolutely true.
Right. So how do you think somebody who is getting into this now, especially the young leaders who are getting to manage their personal skills?
See, first of all, there is a huge generational shift. Amit, I know it's a very hard truth for you and me. We are dinosaur generation now. We are fairly obsolete in terms of how people management has been working for such a long time, because we had that sir culture. We could say yes sir, no sir, ma'am, and everything and all this stuff. This generation is fairly empowered. For the sake of sounding like an old guy, there is a sense of entitlement also as well with anything that comes along, which may be right, which may be wrong. I mean, we are nobody to judge because we're not living their lives. Their lives are very different right now. So when you engage people in today's entrepreneurial journey, like we were always, the stick method is always used on us, whether it's our teachers or whether community at large and everything. People thought कि डांट के काम कराओ तो बच्चा डर के करेगा, right? That philosophy has changed now totally with the new generations coming in altogether. there is a huge sense of incentivization that's coming in. People have become very transactional. Like जैसे मैंने बोला कि वो I have 8-year-old nieces at home, two of them, and nothing moves without a negotiation here. मतलब, if at all I have to ask them to do something, there has to be a return. ROI has to be there in terms of from their standpoint alone. So whenever you manage teams nowadays, you need to be able to understand what is someone's incentive out there. So for anybody who's working, there are only 2-3 kinds of incentives. One is money, like it was in my case when I was into a job. My incentive was typically money that was driving me because I wanted to earn multiple for my family at that point in time. That drove me so hard that I surpassed all those benchmarks, and that, as you said, they probably created a different vertical altogether where I could work at my own pace. And that's something that you need to understand. What is their needs? If the need is the money, so you figure out how to incentivize a person through money, and they can drive through targets. Second is fame, glory. And nowadays it's even easier to look at. I mean, if you go to LinkedIn today, even the smallest joinee to the CEO has been highlighted, saying that, oh, someone joined today and he got t-shirts and laptops, or someone is doing good job or bad job or something of that sort. So that has become a given thing, that acknowledgement of their work is becoming very, very important nowadays. So you acknowledge their contribution, which wasn't the case earlier, because we thought usi ke liye to salary mil rahi hai, to itna shore kyun macha rahe ho? You just do your work and that's about it. But nowadays it's not about putting your head down and just getting it done, because there's more to it. Also reason is because we lived in a very limited society. मेरे को सिर्फ 40 लोग जानते थे मेरे childhood में, probably, जो मेरे स्कूल या फिर स्कूल के 100-200 लोग. आज की डेट में डिजिटल मीडिया पे मुझे शायद 4000 लोग जानते होंगे, 5000 लोग जानते होंगे. So the exposure of those people have also changed. So you need to be able to give them the right kind of positive exposure, contribute to that positive exposure that you can really do, which can boost their spirits in doing whatever they really have to do. Third is, people nowadays are also very self-aware. We were not aware in our times. We just had to follow science, arts, maths, and figure out a channel and pick up, and you build your life around it. Here, right, people are aware that someone would want to become a dancer, musician, a scientist, astrophysicist, so many things. So when they're self-aware, understand their learning and building needs and contribute to that. So if someone wanted to be a musician, you simply say, okay, there is an office sponsored weekend music class you want to join in, please go ahead, do it. Right. So people have been doing office sponsored MBAs and leadership courses anyways, but if there could be something around that also as well. So which keeps you really happy about what you're doing, and those kind of incentives that keep coming in. So these are transactional set of engagements that you can have with people. Third and fourth is the most important, is the empathy. I mean, we've realized that, state of mind has also become an important part of our lifestyle today. In our case, we were never depressed, or we were never hypertensive. We never had any issues with our minds apparently, whereas we lived with them day in, day out. But acknowledge that particular part, that it is becoming strenuous for someone physically or mentally, support that particular person if required be, help them with that particular part. So these are the 4 basic pillars in terms of when you go out to people and work with them. So there has to be a hard outcome, tangible, visible engagement benefits or interpersonal benefits people should see. And there has to be a soft part to it also as well, where they feel happy when they talk to you. That's about it. So there's a feel-good factor and there is a visible factor. These 2 things I think has to be worked with people. I've been doing it for a few years now. It's, by the grace of God, working very well. So with people.
Right. And you already said that we are the dinosaurs for the current.
Today, yes.
Right. So looking at the sense of entitlement and the need of acknowledgement, right, from them, a lot of these people have not been out in the market. When I say out, as in they don't go out. They have a circle which is digital.
Right.
For them. How do you think the sense of proactiveness? Because I think when you're running a business,
right,
first thing you need to do is being proactive. Right. You should be.
Absolutely. You
need to be there, even if you need to open your shop every damn day. Right.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
True.
And reach out to your customers. So how do you think somebody who is shy or not very open to these things,
Right.
Take the first baby steps.
See, first of all, there are again two things that every entrepreneur has to learn about their business. Is
Hmm.
their is their business good enough being a digital business only? So, if I know that I am a YouTube influencer or a TikTok guy, anyway, sorry, TikTok is not there anymore, but though, yeah. So if I'm a YouTube influencer or a TikTok guy, I don't need to be out anywhere. The video will do the work.
Hmm.
But if I need to be a surgeon, if I need to be an auto guy, or if I need to be building technologies, if I need to be doing things, it's a part of your self development that you need to be out there doing things all by yourself too. There is a reason to it. Until you know the fundamentals, no matter who you hire or who you work with, they will take you for a ride, and you will not know and you will not learn. And the moment you start losing trust factor in the people that you work with, that will become a big challenge. So I would not really say spruce up your social media profile. I think I have one of the worst LinkedIn profiles if you look at it today. Or in fact, Facebook only very limited that I really come. I mostly share jokes. I don't even, I think, share work updates on Facebook as much. But and I'm also fairly camera shy. I've always been a fairly camera shy person or a media shy person. Either job demands otherwise, that's a separate story. But um, so for me, it took me time to build that value. As I said, when I could make this statement that you give me a problem, I'll solve it for you, people take it seriously now. So work on building that value where then if you are shy, then you pay the price or for your own comfort and for your own personality and say, okay, I'll give it time.
Right.
If I'm outgoing and I'm extrovert and I know I can be out there talking to people all together, let me make that noise and let the world know about me.
Hmm.
But if I am not comfortable making that noise, then let me do only that value work. I create that value, I'll build that value with people, with a limited circle or first inner circle that I built of my first line of customers. And let those customers only help me multiply what can really happen out there now.
Right.
So this is where it is. And sales is a very tricky, and sales is a function that every entrepreneur has to, participate in and learn. So sales will teach you a lot. For me, my biggest learning in sales came from, I know life demanded it. One of the childhood aspect that I not normally don't talk about people with, that to make a living in my life, I actually had to sell pizza cards door to door. So I used to knock more than 200 doors a day uh, to sell those 10 cards I had in my pocket. Okay.
Hmm.
And I didn't even know who's going to come out. Someone threw dogs at me, someone called police, someone did whatever things. And it taught me handle how the situation really worked for me at that point in time. So some of it will be taught once you're out there in the field. But first step, you build value, make a conscious call and simply say, okay, I'm only a value guy, not a volume guy. So I can work on volume if I'm not shy, but I can build value if I'm shy and wait for things to turn its own way.
Actually, very good advice for people to at least
Thank you.
a lot of self intervention and figure out what are the key values are.
Absolutely true.
Uh, Mukesh, please do share books which inspired you or you want to recommend to the young leaders.
Okay. See, one book that changed my life in my corporate career is a book called The Goal. It's written by Goldratt.
Right.
Uh, Actually, that was my MBA. Or just to give you an idea, guys, I'm not even an MBA nor an engineer, even though I've headed IT functions and project functions and business excellence also as well. And I've had the luxury to work with my peers who came from IIT, IIM, and they also taught me a lot in various ways. But that book was my MBA. If you really read that book properly, it's a business novel. It's very interesting. It is story based, learning on how to manage business, and it talks about theory of constraints. My life has been full of constraints when I started it, so it really teaches you a lot. I think The Goal is the one book that changed my life. Then I would say another one is Outlier by Gladwell. Outliers is a story of certain business leaders, including Bill Gates and all, of creating an analysis of their baseline practices. So things that every leader has practiced in their lives. So those are some guru mantras that you can really follow if you really want to learn and build a business or build something. build something big, not just the business. But if you want to build something big, these two books are pretty good. And if you are feeling any complex in you and you're thinking that the others are superior and whether you can achieve things or not, read the book called The World is Flat. That's also a good one that I'd say. I'm not a big reader, but I think these books are, in fact, I'm reading this one nowadays. It's called The Range. It's about life of a journalist across specialists, if you really could understand that now. So these books really help.
Thank you, Mukesh, for sharing your time with us and recommending such lovely books.
Thank you.
Everyone, please note these books and do read them. They'll help you a lot. So I would like to thank all the audience who have been watching us on Facebook Live or going through the recording after the session. These testing times under COVID-19 situation has created a vacuum and forced us to face times we had never dreamt of. Engaging students has become quite an effort who are faced to stay inside their homes 24/7. This Kids Live initiative, like many others, may help to keep your child engaged and updated. If you want to acknowledge more topics, you may write to us on our Facebook page or on our website, Kidzpreneur.com, and feel free to put any suggestions. Thank you everyone for joining the Kids Live show. Thank you, Mukesh and
Thank
Amit,
you.
once again for
Thanks a
joining.
lot. It's a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much.